Crafting engaging and effective presentations. Hi, my name is Brianna Posanka, and today we'll be learning to design presentations that engage and inspire. By the end, you'll know how to define your presentation's purpose and audience, organize your content for clarity and flow, and use visuals and tools to enhance engagement. We're going to start with the why, and then we'll add the who, and we'll develop our content from there. To do this, we're going to do a little exercise together. I will be sharing an example that we'll use to carry through the rest of this learning module. But if you have a presentation idea in mind that you'd like to develop, feel free to jot it down now, and then we'll fill in the details as we go. So for our exercise, let's say we're educating teachers and school staff about how insufficient sleep affects students' physical health, mental well-being, and academic success. Our goal, our why, is to inspire our staff to support policies and practices that encourage better sleep hygiene for our students. So now let's consider our audience, our who. Well, this presentation is going to be for teachers and staff, and we all know that they have limited time and varying levels of health knowledge. So our tone should be clear, practical, and relatable. So for our example, the purpose could be increase awareness of sleep's role in student success. And a key takeaway for our audience could be students who sleep 8 to 10 hours are healthier and perform better in school. So if you wrote down a different presentation topic, take a moment now to write down what your purpose is and a key takeaway that you want for your audience. A well-structured presentation ensures clarity. So let's break it down using our example. We could start with a startling statistic, something like 73% of high school students sleep fewer than 8 hours on school nights. Or we could pose a question like, what role can schools play in improving this? We might use a short story about a student who is struggling due to sleep deprivation. Then we move on to the body of our presentation, and that consists of the points that we want to make. So using our example, one point would be, what are the effects of sleep deprivation on health, mental health, and academics? A second point could be, what are the benefits of good sleep habits? And finally, point 3, what are some strategies for schools that could help in this area, such as later start times or education on sleep hygiene? And then we finish our presentation with a summary or conclusion. We recap those points, and then we do what I like to call a call to action. So we're challenging our audience to adopt one new strategy, like sharing sleep tips with students and families. Design is key. Most slide programs, whether it's Google Slides or Slido, PowerPoint, they all have a wide variety of templates to choose from, and even those templates can be customized. Using visuals is vital to connect the audience to the content. So consider the colors, the font, the images that you'll use. A bar graph or pie chart that compares data such as student sleep duration and comparing that to academic performance really is a high impact way to get your points across. And this is where you really get to use your creativity. We want to use that creativity to boost engagement with our audience. So you might consider using something like an infographic. There's an example of one right here, something like 10 tips for better sleep for students. Infographics are also a great takeaway tool, something that can be printed and handed to your audience that they can refer back to afterwards. And here's another great engagement strategy. These tools and resources that are available now are incredible, and they really can elevate your presentation. So interactive polls, there's so many platforms that use them: Poll Anywhere, Mentimeter, Slido, Canva. And what you'll do is you'll embed that into your slide. The audience gets a link to how they can weigh in with their answer. And then you'll get the results in real time right on your slide, right in front of them. And everybody is very excited to see how their answer compared to others. Interactive polls are another great way to do knowledge checks. So maybe you ask the question before you provide the information, and then you ask it again, almost like a post test. But also interactive polls are a great way to gather input from the audience and find out what their experiences have been. Here's another way that you can engage your audience is to embed a video or short clip. And pretty much any topic that you'll be presenting on, you can find educational clips on through the CDC or TED Talks. And they're just a neat tool to make your presentation more dynamic and more memorable. And when you do those two things, ultimately, it's more impactful. So don't be afraid to be a little playful. Some platforms, this one's from Canva, has these tools that you don't actually put in your slide, but rather you use them while presenting. And they're just a really fun way to add some neat elements. And so even if we send our participants off to do a small group discussion, but we want them to come back and settle down, we can ask them for their attention. So lots of things to play with. We can even use a timer, which is kind of a fun thing to do. And we want to give them 3 minutes to talk about their small group activity idea. And there we have it. So there's our timer right there. Really fun stuff. So as we conclude this micro learning module, here's just a few little pearls to keep in mind, some tips. Make use of the light and dark spaces on your slides. High contrast is not only more interesting, it's also easier for your participants to see. Keep it simple, silly. Try to follow the 6x6 rule, which is no more than 6 lines of text per slide and no more than 6 words in each line of text. And when in doubt, visuals are always more impactful than text. So remember, creating effective presentations is a skill you can develop. Start by focusing on your purpose and audience. Use structure to craft a clear message and get creative in your design by using engaging visuals and tools. You got this. Thank you.